Well, we've been waiting all year for this. It is December 5th, 2020, and it is King's Dominion's opening day. This has been my home park for years, and it has been so sad to see the state's restrictions on it that prevented the park from opening. But at last, we are now able to open at 25% capacity, and so just in time to do a Christmas event. They're not calling it Winterfest this year, they're calling it Taste for the Season, so it's a little bit different. They're kind of focusing more on the food aspect, but they do have some rides open, such as Dominator, which you can see behind me, as well as Rebel Yell Racer 75. So let's go on into the park and check things out. This is the view you get as you arrive at the front entrance. Of course, we have those white tents. That's where they're going to take your temperature, and security will be just beyond that. One of the first things I did want to mention, though, is when we were going through the parking tolls, they do not scan for parking. So I'm guessing that they're just not charging for parking at all this year because they did not take my pass or anything. You just go on through, which is a little different. Right out front, we have some hand sanitizer stations and a sign telling you that if you have COVID-like symptoms, you probably should not enter. This is all pretty standard for amusement parks this year, and King's Dominion is going to be no different. Already, we got 6-foot markers right outside the entrance, and there is our sign for Taste of the Season. Welcome home. Made it in, and oh man, it feels good to be back. One thing I did want to mention, reservations are required in order to visit the park for the short time that they're open. Though something interesting, they did not ask to see the reservations at the front. They just scanned my season pass. And I guess it must be hooked up to it already because they let me in no problem. But yeah, you do need to reserve a spot before you come on into the park. But let's get a closer look at what they did up front because that is a little different this year. So in the past, they've had a big Winterfest sign here. This would be the third season that they would be doing Winterfest. And you would normally see a big old ice skating rink back there. But because of the short amount of time that they had to prep in order to get this all ready, I mean, they put all these decorations up in about 4 weeks. That's how much notice they had. So they had to do things a little bit different, but that's still, I mean, they did a good job. This looks really nice. I bet it's gonna look even better at night. Now for the few weeks where you can visit King's Dominion 2020, we do have a limited amount of park actually open. As you can see, pretty much the entire right side of the park is closed off. I mean, that's all where Grizzly, Twisted Timbers all is. And of course, the main left side, which has never been open for Winterfest, is not open. So you mainly have Ice Street, Planet Snoopy, and Candy Apple Grove. Dinner is served here at Country Kitchen. I got the ham dinner, and look who I found. Hey, it's Clint and Sherry.
It's the other ham dinner.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, how's it feel to be back at King's Dominion?
Oh man, it feels absolutely good. I mean, she cried coming in.
Yeah. Oh man.
Got a little teary-eyed.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it's not the full event like we normally would, not as much of the park, but that's okay. I mean,
I didn't need much.
Yeah.
Like, they could have just strung up a couple lights and let me in, and I would have been happy.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
They didn't. Yesterday we had a chance to preview the park, and the one thing that we were missing in the preview yesterday was our friends and family of coaster enthusiasts. So we had to see all the employees that we normally get to see. We didn't get to see people like you and Sam and everybody. So
yeah, well,
really excited to see everybody.
Opening day, there's a lot of people here from who love roller coasters. So
I would hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's eat this food. We're on the balcony of Country Kitchen. I didn't even know this was a thing, but look at this. This is the rooster of the logo. There it is, somewhere right there. All right, so we were making fun of this earlier when they released it, but they have multiple tasting stations where you can try different food, and they have cinnamon bread, which sounds great, but they're calling it King's Dominion's famous cinnamon bread. But my question is, how can it be famous if this is their first year doing it? That's not really how it works. The only park that is allowed to call their cinnamon bread famous is Dollywood. Maybe Silver Dollar City. Like, no, King's Dominion, look, it can be good and not be famous. It's okay. You don't have to call it famous to try and get people to buy it. We made it over here by Dodgems. They have a really nice display here, but there's something we gotta talk about. This is covering up something very important. Guys, if you look back here, this is where the mushrooms are supposed to be. Look, they're gone. That's where one of them would be right there, and the frog would be back there. I mean, they're not like gone. They probably just covered them up and they put them in storage. I mean, they'll be back, but yeah, for one reason or another, I guess they didn't want to have them out for the Christmas event this year. So yeah, a little strange, but I mean, I mean, it looks nice. It's just something a little different.
Peach or barf, let's see. If she's been on the nice list this year, it'll be peach, but if she's been on the naughty list so far, it'll taste like barf.
All right.
No.
Let's see, what are we thinking over here?
I don't
Barf,
know.
barf,
Barf.
Barf, 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 barf.
Barf, barf.
That's not a peach.
Barf!
Naughty!
All right, Clinton, you go.
All right, I'm ready.
Who's up next?
I'm ready.
Let's see.
Let's do it.
What's it gonna be?
Not barf.
And toothpaste.
You get to pick.
Oh.
Choice. So I get to just tell you which one I want? Yes.
Or you can get a random one.
The confetti
3.
one. The little
Birthday
confetti.
cake.
Yeah, birthday
Birthday
cake confetti one.
Birthday cake? Oh wait, actually, that's not it. Sorry, this is it. Birthday cake or dirty dishwater. if you
Dirty
prefer.
dishwater.
Let's see. Oh, we got
Oh, it's dirty dishwater.
We got some naughty ones over here. Walking around with a bunch of naughty lists.
All right. Yeah. Let's give it a spin for me. All right. If I've been nice, it'll taste good. If I've been naughty, it'll taste bad.
You got it. Let's see. I think
Oh,
toasted
this
marshmallow
stink
or
bug.
stink
Oh,
bug.
this just I don't know if I like this one.
Yeah, stink bug. Stink bug.
You're purposely doing this.
I think they all just taste bad. Here's a look you don't see too often. Dominator's line is almost up to the entrance. I mean, they're not using the full queue that's over there. And the thing is, they just have shorter dispatches because they're not loading every single row. I mean, it's only a limited number of people per train. So that's why the line is like that, but it's still a bit longer than I think we're willing to wait. So we might just try back later after some people leave. Guys, I lied. There's one more coaster open. The Great Pumpkin Coaster is operational. Night has fallen and oh man, this entrance looks so good at night. I actually really dig it. The reindeer, the sign and everything. That's so sweet. This right here is the pathway that would lead down typically to Old Virginia, but it's blocked off. But it's not so bad because we have a really big and awesome nativity. Yeah, taking up the entire width of the pathway. It's pretty good. As you can see, it's right here by Rita's. And the Eiffel Tower's all lit up and it looks so good. This is what replaced the trees that were in sync to lights. They just have this cool effect on them. And this actually goes all throughout Candy Apple Grove. It still looks good. I mean, it definitely looks nice. But yeah, it's no Winterfest. But again, totally understandable why. Love these Santa statues that they have around Bad Apple. Interestingly enough, Bad Apple is not one of the rides that is open, even though logically you think it would be with everything else around it being open, especially Delirium right behind it.
As a reminder, please wash and sanitize your hands often to defend against the spread of COVID-19.
All right, this might end up being our one ride of the night because Dominator's line is still pretty crazy. This one is not too bad, so they aren't loading people in the station, so it's just on the ramp. It is just one side open, but we were just talking with how Safari Village is completely closed off, no lights back there or anything. This is gonna be a pitch black night ride. There's a total of 5 open rows on the entire train. Sherry and I just got off of Rebel Yell, Racer 75. Racer 75. And, it kept a good pace.
Yeah.
It was really nice seeing it at night. What were you talking about with the reflection in Lake Charles?
Oh yeah, well it's a really dark ride, and then after the turnaround, the reflection of the tree in Lake Charles, so
the Eiffel Tower with the big lights on it.
The Eiffel Tower tree, sorry, yeah.
No,
tree.
It's very cool. I mean, there's not a lot of airtime on it, but
No.
it keeps a great pace throughout the layout, and definitely a cool night ride. with it being called Taste of the Season and all, there is lots of different food offerings, and we've been going around getting a bunch of samples with the tasting card. That Hush Puppy's for me, but Clint and Sherry have already tried it. How is it?
I've only had the Hush Puppy so far, but good. I haven't gotten the filling.
Haven't gotten to the rest.
Very, very fresh. These definitely just came out of the fryer, so they're really good.
Well, that's good. That's contrary to the bread that we tried earlier.
The crouton sandwich.
Yeah, it was not supposed to taste like a crouton, but it definitely had the consistency of one.
Wow, this is good. You were still holding it.
That's pretty good. That was, what was it, lobster and shrimp inside of it?
And the dipping sauce.
That was good. And that does it for our day here at King's Dominion. Again, opening night in December. That is the weirdest thing. I don't think it will ever happen again. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, it's been a weird year, but it was a great visit to the park. I mean, everything looks great. It was awesome meeting up with you guys. I mean, it was a good time.
Yeah, I always have a great time with you guys, so.
Yeah, and I mean, we got to try some food. We didn't get on too many rides, but that's okay. And yeah, just walking around enjoying the atmosphere. It was just good to be back. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to stay tuned for more here at Coaster Studios, and we'll see you next time.